Hello, everybody. I am Georgia, an economic geographer that is currently working as a postdoc fellow at the University of Udine with Professor Amaduzzi. I'm here today because Professor Amaduzzi and I would like to examine with you the advantages and limitations of collecting spatial data through the use of map-based surveys. The premise is that the internet is increasingly used to disseminate the results of the geographic research activities, even amongst people that are not strictly connected to the academic field. But it's less common to interact with citizens through the internet in order to ask them to participate in a study, for example, by answering questions with a complex spatial dimension. In this lesson, I would like to show you what are map-based surveys and to examine with you the advantages and limitations of collecting spatial data through the use of those tools. Then you will have the opportunity of filling a real map-based survey form, so you will see in person how they work and the type of information they collect and how to visualize this new data in QGIS. We are interested in gathering your opinion on this tool. For this reason, the survey contains 2 questions asking if you found it difficult to answer to the map-based question and what the others are that an average respondent may encounter when completing this type of survey. The replies to those questions will be analyzed in a following lesson. Okay, some background about me. I was awarded with a postdoc fellowship under the project PARIDE, which is the acronym for I paesaggi del rischio e del degrado. And my project aims to investigate the relationship between local population and the landscape around them in the Italian region of Friuli Venezia Giulia. In particular, my colleagues and I are focusing on landscape degradation, that is, all those situations in which deterioration, decay, and impoverishment is recorded. During the first year of my project, my main task consisted in eliciting citizen perceptions of these topics through different research methods, that is, survey, social media data, respondent-produced photographs, photo eliciting interviews, and then analyzing the collected data in order to create a geographic database with sites perceived to be of high landscape quality and sites seen as degraded in the study area. The final aim was to create a database that can potentially serve as information base to support decision making. The PARIDE project consisted of the administrations of 4 surveys, a photography context, and a series of photo eliciting interviews in order to acquire knowledge from the local populations of the state of beauty and degradations of landscape in the study area. And an online questionnaire administered to specific categories of interviewees was used to bring out, gather, and analyze the opinion of citizens of different aspects related to the places where they live and work in the region. Amongst the various sections of the questionnaire, one was specifically tailored to the collections of data with a geographic dimension. The questions were, first, indicate 3 places in the Friuli Venezia Giulia region that are of particular value quality to you, and in parallel 3 places of particular criticality degradations in the same region. In the map-based survey, people could identify, first of all, which geometry to use between points, lines, and polygons to produce their report on the map. And then in tracing, by clicking on the base map integrated in the survey to indicate the places perceived as either beautiful or in state of degradation. In geographical research, some situations might arise where it's necessary to bring out subjective feelings, asking participants to indicate places with certain characteristics. Questions such as which area would you define as your neighborhood? Or which do you consider to be the cleanest stretch of river in your region? Requires answer with a special dimension that is probably difficult to communicate solely with words. The answer implies identifications of places that have a precise geographic locations and subjective boundaries. The internet surveys, such as the one that you can create in Google Form, are good as survey methods to collect primary data. The data will be kept as a spreadsheet that you can import in your statistical tools for data analysis. For instance, with Google Form, you can get unlimited question and answer at no cost, and you can reach anyone that has an internet connection, regardless of his domicile. Moreover, it's a free online tool that allows you to collect information easily and efficiently. The interface is very easy to use. Any user with an average internet knowledge can create forms using this tool. Amongst the disadvantages of using Google Form, there is the fact that it is necessary to have internet to be able to answer the survey. Moreover, the target populations might not be at ease with IT tools, and so only those who have access to the internet and have some familiarity with online forms will answer the survey. There is thus a problem of representativeness of respondents, and the old people might be excluded, for example. Other drawbacks are the fact that it's necessary to have the internet to be able to construct the survey, and the design customizations is quite limited. I suppose that you are rather familiar with Google Forms, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on this tool. However, I would like to highlight that Google Forms allow us to include different types of questions, such as short open text answer, multiple choice, drop-down menu, amongst others. But if you want to gather special responses to the question I showed you before, for instance, which area would you define as your neighborhood? What can you do? With this tool, the best thing that you can do is to insert an open text question that enables you to gather spatial information in the form of text, that is the location name or number. For instance, the postcode of the locations having such characteristic. Third-party service, such as Enketo, allow those without relevant authoring experience to create online maps surveys. It's enabled to collect traditional survey responses plus complex spatial information. With the Enketo platform, which was chosen for the development of the questionnaire employed in the Paride project, it is possible to embed the map-based question in a longer survey. Here, respondents select a geometry that can be a point, line, or polygon to reply, and then their mouse clicks are translated into latitude and longitude coordinates pair, which are then recorded in a database with other questionnaire responses. Then points, when points were selected as special feature to make the report, the output file directly contains the latitude and longitude of the respondent selected localities. With lines and polygons, the output is a sequence of coordinates corresponding to the mapped element. These various output can then be imported and processed easily, for instance, in QGIS. Well, what are the advantages and drawbacks of this type of survey? As I promised, you will have the opportunity to complete a real map-based survey. In reality, this survey that we're going to complete has two functions. First, it helps you understanding the advantages and limitations of collecting spatial data through the use of map-based surveys. Second, I ask your collaborations and I invite you to compile this anonymous questionnaire for a research purpose. In fact, this survey is aimed at deepening some aspects related to the collections of geographic data through online questionnaire. With this survey, I want to deepen some aspects on the familiarity of the respondents with online cartography. In particular, I want to analyze the link between the profile of the respondents and the ability to produce quality spatial data. Here are some notes before completing the survey. It's an anonymous questionnaire. I'm not going to ask for your name and surname, and the results will be analyzed in aggregate form. The questions with the asterisks are mandatory, so if you do not answer them, you won't be able to send the questionnaire. So pay attention to the question that has the asterisk mark. Once the questionnaire has been completed, send it by clicking on the send button. I suggest you to wait about 10-50 seconds before closing the window with the questionnaire. A message will appear first on the top of the screen saying something like record agreed for sending, and then a second message will pop up signaling that the form has been successfully loaded. As you can see in this slide, you will find in this questionnaire some traditional multiple choice questions related to your demographic profile, that is age, sex, and then also your educational and IT background. in these demographic sessions, there are questions that refers to your use of the internet and computer. And I ask you to refer to the habits that you have before the coronavirus pandemic. That is, to what you normally did before February 21, because when the first cases of coronavirus changed our lives and our habits. I ask you this because I have already conducted the same experiment with other colleagues of yours studying at the University of Udine in November and December of last year, so I need to make the result comparable. In the special question, if you decide to map, pay attention to the following points. First, the choice of the geometry, that is a point, line, or polygon, is your decision. And usually it depends on the scale map that you adopt. In fact, you can zoom in and zoom out on those base maps and your willingness to map well. Please note that the default map is not centered on the study area, so you need to zoom in the area corresponding to the Friuli-Venezia Giulia region. And I recommend you to read the instructions that are written over the maps very carefully. In particular, if you choose to map with lines, you have to draw at least 2 points. With polygon, you have to draw at least 3 points and then click on the Close Polygon button. Here I offer you a screenshot of a drawing made with a polygon geometry. Here I have drawn some points in the historical center of Udine, but you can see I have not clicked yet in the Close Polygon button, and then the background is red. I stress this because it's a very common mistake. And in fact, during the past administrations of the survey, many of your colleagues were unable to send the questionnaire because they made this mistake. Another note is that even though the survey concerned the Friuli-Venezia Giulia region, it is not a test aiming at assessing your knowledge on the geography of the region. So everybody, even also those who are resident in the Veneto region, can participate in the survey. It's not important where your domicile is and your familiarity with the study area. In addition, as I said in the beginning of this lesson, Professor Amaduzzi and I are interested in gathering your opinion on this tool. For this reason, the survey contains 2 questions asking if you found it difficult to answer to the base map questions and what are the hurdles that an average respondent may encounter when completing this type of surveys. The replies to those questions will be analyzed in a following lesson. Okay, now it's really your turn. You can take part in the survey available in the link embedded in this slide. The Enqueto platform that we use to develop this survey satisfy an important requirement in that the questionnaire developed in there can be compiled either by computer or smartphone. However, I suggest you to use your laptop. Moreover, we have noticed that there are some problems with Firefox, so please use another browser. We will leave active the survey for a few days, So should you need any further information, please do not hesitate to contact me. The last part of the presentation aims to give you an idea of how to build this survey form and to show you how to process the collected spatial data in an open source GIS software. In order to build the map-based survey using the Enketo platform, you need first to write the XLS form for your survey. This is a form standard created to help simplify the authoring of forms in Excel. Each Excel workbook usually has two worksheets. One is called survey and the other choices, and a third optional worksheet called setting can be added. Here I present a screenshot of the survey sheet of the map-based survey you will complete later on. You will find in the survey a multiple choice question asking to select your age. The introductions of this question was possible because in the first column type, I used the question type corresponding to multiple choice, that is select one. Then the object of this question is, as you can see, the expression age. In the choice sheet, in the list name, you have again the expression age, and then in the label column, the possible answer you can find in the survey. In the survey, it was possible to choose an age between 17 and 30, and then there was the option more than 30. The multiple choice question regarding your age has associated 15 possible answers. The following four slides aims to show you how to process the collected spatial data in an open source GIS software. I don't want to go into details because I don't know if you are already familiar with QGIS. However, you know that here you can find some guidelines to import geographic data in the software. What I would like to point out is that if you collect a spatial answer using allowing user to employ points, lines, and polygon, you have to prepare 3 different files, each of them corresponding to a different type of spatial responses. And each type of spatial data collected requires a slightly different type of procedure in order to be imported into the software. Here in point 2a, you have the procedure for points, while in 2b, you have the procedure for lines and polygons. On the final slide of this presentation, I would like to show you some results during the administrations of the map-based survey in the PARIDE project. Remember that amongst the various sections of the questionnaire, one was specifically tailored to the collections of data with geographical dimensions. The questions were, first, indicate 3 places in the Friuli Venezia Giulia region that are particular value quality to you, and in parallel, 3 places of particular degradations in the same region. In my opinion, it may be interesting to evaluate whether the same element was mapped differently in different reports. What I would like to point out is the fact that collecting special data doesn't mean to have data that are readily usable for the analysis. For example, in this map, 5 reports traced with polygons were about the Friulian Dolomites Natural Park. All the traced geometries had a surface that falls within the area to be reported. However, there were great differences between the reports. Some respondents drew very simple polygons using 4 points. Only in one case did the geometry of the report follow the true boundaries of the park. It's the sea green color in the map. And from one answer, it also appeared that our respondent thought that the park consisted of a much larger area. That is actually the case, and included other territories in the nearby mountain area. This example may raise the following question then. Is it really useful to allow users to trace polygons on map if the information that I really need is that those respondents consider as beautiful the Friulian Dolomites? In other words, cannot I obtain the same information if I allow respondents to use just polygon? This is a question that I leave to you. Okay, finally, I would like to thank you for your attention. Again, do not hesitate to contact me if you are interested in map-based survey, especially in the case you decide to use this tool for your research, and if you need assistance in writing the Excel form to be inputted into the platform. Thank you.